Yeah, as we discussed, we need to install the first on RV. Let's install on RV. There will be TIPCO universal installer. You got a laptop? You have a? Will, huh? Will install directly? Install my system? But I cannot record. Let's see. Because my laptop I have 7 to 8 installs. I thought of uninstalling. Yesterday I did 4 5. Still I have so many. So okay, just accept it and next. And if it is a first installation as an RV, I'm just choosing class 5. To class 5, just where I want to store the installables. After install, we have to store it somewhere, right? So I'm just storing into class 5.
Class 5 is the name of the location.
Location where I am. Like normally by default it will pop up TIPCO, but already I have the installables in so many places. It is showing up my latest install where I stored it. So class 2 it's shown us, but class 2 already there are the files. So I'm just going for class 5 as an amplifier. See warning, the previous RV installation has been found because already I have it. But no mind. We can say yes, it will install again in this particular install because TIPCO we can install any times in machine. Even I can have 5, 10, 20 if you have capacity of your system. There's no, you can install it. That's what I'm installing. Okay, but it only thing is, it will find out in the system any other components are there. That's what it is giving a warning to us. Already you have it. But fine, we just make it as and continue. We discussed something about RV and EMS, right? Why we have two messaging tools. RV is also one of the messaging tool and EMS is also one of the messaging tool. Why we have both? Sorry? Security reasons and RV is connectionless messaging tool. It is a connectionless messaging tool and it don't require any security and it's so faster, right? Normally, if you are making a connection to database, what will happen? First, it will make a connection. Then only you can able to pass any data to database, right? Then it will time consuming. But RV is not like that. There is no connection. So it is too faster. That's what most of the telecom products still uses the RV for their fastest communication. RV. So that's what it will ask you which kind of a protocol you want to use. If you remember when you studied, we have a TCP, UDP, all these are the protocols, transport protocols which we have to use it. It is just the UDP protocol. UDP is nothing but a connectionless. When you see servlets, if you learn servlets and all, that time you will learn all these protocols. When you use servlets in UDP, it will not ask you any connections to establish from the server to client. If you use a TCP or SSL something, it will ask you to make a connection between two of server and client. Like that here also RV, it doesn't require any connection because it is the UDP protocol.
RAM is enough for this.
Sir,
3 GB RAM is enough.
3 GB is RAM. But the latest products coming from the TIPCO, the recommendation is 8 GB.
8 GB.
Latest products like AMX BPM, it's minimum 8 GB is required. Otherwise you cannot install also. RAM. I don't know how they're coming that much huge because.
But the latest laptops, which it comes with 8 GB.
Sorry?
The latest
Laptops, huh? Ah, okay.
For this Samsung 4 GB na?
This 4 GB is enough, even 3 GB enough. But latest I'm telling, it's not in still AMX BPM is in market, but that it required 8 GB of RAM. Like iProcess and AMX BPM we discussed the first day for the workflow system, right?
That was 8 GB.
It requires 8 GB. Hard disk also it required a 30 GB. Better performance.
30 GB RAM.
Better performance. To get a better performance, we need all these requirements.
should be for the clients.
No, individual system. Because we tried to install in our local systems, it will not allow us. Because, right, and again, what we did, we stopped all the services which are running in the system. Because RAM means what? Whatever the running processors are there in your system, it occupies RAM memory. So we tried with the 5 GB system, whatever we have already running processor, we stopped everything. Even though we tried it. We tried 4 times, 5th time it's got success. Means minimum requirement is 8 GB is good. Because it occupies a lot of memory. RAM. Even to run right, if you have a 3 GB, a 3 GB or 4 GB, even it installs, when you are running also you will get troubles. Because it occupies almost 1.4 GB of RAM. 1.4 GB of your RAM. If AMX itself is occupying 1.4, 1.5 GB of your RAM, how about the remaining processors which are running in your system? And how they can load it? It depends, everything is RAM, right? In our system, everything is RAM. If RAM memory is less, your process will get slow down automatically. That's what the requirement, minimum requirement is. See, here we have TRDP protocol demons or PGM. Both are uses internally UDP protocol. TRDM and all is our own names when you are using a TIPCO. But actually inside what it is using? It is uses the UDP protocol. I'm just clicking next. But for running this TR like a TIPCO BW is 3 GB is fine. And again AMX BPM and all is coming with Eclipse designer. Eclipse itself it will take another 700 MB of your RAM. So this is 1.5 and that will take a 700 MB. If it is a 3 GB, it kills 3 GB, 4 GB. Because your operating system will occupy some memory. And if with that, if you want any database or something, it will take again some memory. Database itself, it will take 250 to 300 MB. So that's what people, because they will consider all this and they given as a minimum requirement as 8 GB to give a better performance. So this RV has been installed and we'll see what is the components we got it with RV. See this we got a RV, TIPCO RV, TIB RV. TIB RV is a folder remaining all related to installables. If you want to uninstall again same products, we have the products here. Uninstall info, what is the release notes, like what kind of RV and what is the release notes for it. It will say what the release note says normally. How to install, how to uninstall, and what are the dependent products for it. All this will be there in the release notes. Even if you are not aware, you can read it, you can get it, what the dependent is. Whatever I am saying, same thing will be. RV has to be installed first. When you are installing TRA, it will say RV should be there in your system. then we have to install the TRA. If without TRA, if you install anything, it will pop up an error. It is not possible. And even installation is 3 types. There are 3 ways of installation. What are those? Normally, if you do any installation cleaner in your systems, laptops, you might do the Oracle installation, right? Or some else, Java installation, JDK installation. How you do? This is only what I am doing it. Next. Normally that is the way. But TIBCO has 3 ways of installation. One is the way which I am doing it, GUI. Next. Another one is console mode. The third one is silent. I'll explain. 3 ways. What are those 3? One is the GUI mode, another one is console, and third one is silent mode. Okay. When I'm going next, if it is asking something, I'm changing the names and all, right? Last time when I opened it, asked what is the directory you want. I said class 5. What is your home directory? I given a class 5. Right? It's a manual interaction, right? Whenever it is asking. Silent means it will not ask you anything while installing. For that, you need to provide a file to the installable. File. There is a file called .silent.
Well, this is non-interactive mode.
Sorry?
Non-interactive.
Non-interactive mode, yes. There is a file called .silent. I'll show you what is .silent. There is a .silent file. What it does, we'll enter the fields before itself. And then we'll provide that silent file to install. Then automatically the values it will take from the silent file and it will install. That's not. Why I need it? Is there any good benefit having a silent?
So, automatically loads.
No, automatically loads is one good important. But is there any, like in organization, any useful like
Every night they want to run.
make it uniform. Right? For example, I am going for dev. I am going for UAD. See, the installables, if you go to the organization, dev should be in some X folder, UAD should be some Y folder, should not be. Right? If I maintain like a silent files, it's good for me. I can maintain a uniformity each and every time. Okay, what I have given there. Instead of thinking and installing again, I can just take that silent file and I can go with all the installations. That is a benefit of the silent. And nowadays you can make products as automation. Installation as an automation. That time I can provide this to script. For example, I have Linux or Unix script where my installation take care. Okay, if I have a file like a silent files, if I give it to the Linux script, it will take care, right? Automation. This is one of the benefit for me. Whenever I am making my installable as a automation. And what is a console? What is a console? Where we are executing command prompt. You just open the command prompt. Whichever I am clicking the TIBCO installer, universal installer, double click, you just view that file. Then it will pop up and it will ask you whenever, okay, you enter the path, you enter the home directory, like that. But here is a GUI, there is a black box. But silent is a useful, we normally use it. Silent. I'll show you the silent file. What is it? Okay, see, as part of TRA, we are getting designer, we are getting runtime agent, we are getting hawk, and we are getting. Why hawk here and another hawk we have? Right? Here we are getting a hawk, and I am saying we have another hawk 4.9. What is that then? What is this? Here, whatever the hawk is coming to identify the only status. To identify the status of running components. For example, I developed one component and I deployed it to the administrator. Do I want to know whether it is running or not? Just running or not? Just watching. opening the window and watching. Okay, that to show as a status, as a green or red or something. But it is not a reporting. What I said hawk, what is the main uses of hawk? Monitoring and reporting. Right? What hawk does? When the component goes down, what it does? It will alert you, right? Through the email or whatever the mechanism you used. It will alert you. But this particular hawk, it doesn't do that. That's what inside the TRA will get a little hawk. It is not full-fledged, where I can develop my hawk rules. If I install hawk suite separately, then only I can do the HRP rules and all. That is what is a hawk here. Okay. If I am installing 4.9, it is nothing but like I don't need to install a hawk suite separately. No, we have to install hawk suite separately for monitoring and reporting. And third-party core libraries. What is the meaning of third-party core libraries? Normally, why we need? For example, I want to communicate with Oracle. How you can communicate? For example, server is not with me. Means Oracle is not installed in my box. How you communicate? Through APIs. That is a JARS, right? Where you keep the client jobs. Anyone use SQL developer or something? How you use SQL developer? SQL developer is a server? No, right? It's just you are making connection to where your database. But what it is used internally? It is used as client drivers. Client drivers to connect to Oracle database or DB2 or Sybase. Like that is what is the third party core libraries. If you have any libraries, earlier TIBCO used to provide inbuilt all the drivers, but they stopped now. There is a reason why they stopped also. Because these vendors are changing their libraries very often. Like this month one library, next month they are saying another library. Right? From 5.7 what the TIBCO says, boss, we will not install any vendor libraries. It is a headache for us. Today I build the RTRA with X library. Next month they change the Y libraries. I cannot include again to my TRA and release a new version. The client says, the customer saying, what is this changes again? Always it is a maintenance headache for us to install again TRA. Because TRA is a core component. So that's what they did. They removed the client libraries from the TRA. But it says if you have while installing, you can utilize it with get the drivers from the clients. Get the drivers from the clients directly. Because those are freeware, right? All the drivers are freeware. You can go to the Oracle site and you can download the Oracle drivers. You can go DB2, mainframe site, like IBM site, you can get the DB2 drivers. That's what they removed it. But only the option is there. If you have, you can choose it. Earlier, there is no option like this also. By default, it will install all the drivers which are presently available with them. If you install 5.6 of TRA, you will get all the drivers. But if you install 5.7, you will not get it.
So before installing this, you need to install all the drivers.
Separately. By installing of TRA, if you don't have, then you need to get it separately and install it. Only the drivers, not the TRA. I'll show you where we need to give the driver. See, as already RV has been installed, it is asking now, do you want to use existing home? Because already I given a class file, right? That's what it is asking. So I have few more. So I'm just selecting what is ours, this class file.
So audio also is recording.
So
Audio also recording.
audio also will be recorded. Whichever I am saying. Okay. Yesterday we didn't go, huh? You also came yesterday?
No, I called them on Friday. They told you are going to see.
I went to Hyderabad. In TRA it will take a little time because we'll have a lot of components in TRA like the designer where we implement actually. I'll show you once after install what is a designer, what it contains when you install the TRA. Because I told you right, BW is the one where I'm going to implement the logic. But the designer is coming through the TRA. But what will come with the BW? With the BW it will come only the palettes. But the designer comes through the TRA. Now we got all the components. It's building the see now it is asking please specify the TRA database configuration. because as of now I don't have any drivers. If I have a drivers, directly I can select this and I can choose what are the drivers, and you can browse for the driver's location and you can say next. But I'm not giving anything now. I'm not having drivers. We have drivers installable separately. We have it. It's done. As part of this, it will install the TRA designer, TIPCO designer, TIPCO runtime agent, and it install the Hawk, particle levels, and if I go and open the designer, if I go and open the designer product 7, just go to the bin folder, we'll have the designer. This one is the designer. This is one way we are going to implement our business logics. And if you see here, we will not see any much palettes. Here, if I go palettes, it's only through the by default palettes will come. Actual way we are going to implement palettes will not come with the TI. When you install BW, you will get all the palettes. Let's see that once after we install that BW. So in the class file, same home directory I'm going to use. చెప్పు. సరే ఓకే నాకు ఓకే. సరే వన్ ఐసీజీ దగ్గర కలమన్నాను. సీజీ వన్ నెంబర్ నాకు ఎస్ఎంఎస్ చేయండి. అదేనమ్మా వెయిట్ చేస్తాను నేను. వాడు మెసేజ్ నాకు ఎస్ఎంఎస్ చేయండి, నేను ఫోన్ చేస్తాను. Okay, now it got installed the BW, and if I open the designer, Okay, before. No, it's okay. My system is little slow because I am maximum installer of all the softwares, so it's take time. But normally, if it's only tip is installed, it will open little fast. See, earlier you are not seeing the tester window also. As I installed BW, then only we got the tester window also, tester tab. We have seen first project global variables palettes only. We are not seeing the tester also. Tester also will come with the when you install the BW. And again palettes. If you see the palettes, how many palettes are there? There are so many palettes. Right? With the BW. Just I want to show the difference when you install the TRA. We'll get only basic designer with the palettes which is useful only in the TRA. But when you install the BW, you will get all the palettes which we are going to implement the basic logic of. And now we will install the administrator. What is the use of an administrator to install? If I want to, after implementation, if I want to deploy some components, I need an administrator. So go to the administrator. What happened? It is running and it got stuck. Okay. I'm just installing the administrator now. In the while installing administrator, we need little configuration details. Where I want to set the where I want my admin to run. Right? Normal administrator is nothing but a one JSP page. Where it should run? Somewhere in the server. That is what is a Tomcat server. It uses internally TIBCO. TIBCO internally uses the Tomcat server, their administrator to run. For that, if any admin component, we need to give the port and all that. 8080 or 7070, wherever I want to always run my application. That is the configuration we have to do while installing the administrator. We'll see that. So now it is asking, would you like to install the master or secondary server? What is normally master and secondary? It's nothing but a primary and secondary. Right? We'll have a fault tolerance, right? Primary and secondary servers. When the primary running, secondary will be in standby. When the primary goes down, secondary will come. That is what they provided as a two options now. Which kind of a server you want to configure? I'm just saying primary. We are going to just having only one. I'm just saying a primary means master. And TIBCO, we have a flexibility. After we install, we can do n number of domain configurations and all. That is a separate part, as we will discuss about the admin when we discuss about the admin concepts. Okay, now it is asking administration domain name. I'll just give class 5. Just giving class 5 as a what is my domain name and where it is storing and what is my machine name, what is my hop cluster. And here if you see here, domain information stored in a database. See, the domain's creation can be two ways. One is file based, another one is DB based. If I want to store all my configuration details in the tables, in a database, then I should select a database. If I select a database, if I move forward, it will ask you your database details, all those. Okay. If I deselect, it will not ask because I am going to create a file-based domain now. I'll show you just what it will ask you. Then I'll come back and I'll go for file-based because we need to have a database separate schema for just only for the administrator. It will not coexist with existing schemas also. For example, you understood right, what is meaning of schema? In a database, what is meaning of schema? Using any one database, what does a schema means?
It's only on the tables mostly.
Correct, tables and if like what we will do normally application wise also will create one schemas. Okay, this particular X application will be utilizing X schema, Y application Y schema. Like that, TIBCO administrator also will have a separate schema for it. It cannot be coexist with already used schema. It will not allow. It's a failed. Will not already there are schema utilized for some other purpose. We cannot go ahead. So always remember, when I am using a database based domain, we should use a fresh schema for it. So if I just go next, it will ask you database details and all. So this is a port where it wants to run. Again I'll change those. I'll go back. See now it is asking which database you want me to store all these configuration details. Because as I selected database. So then you need to select a database and give all these details. Now I'm just unchecking it. And I'm saying local application data. Just store it in the local application. Wherever the file base. It's nothing but a file base. Okay. I'm using 1010 as a port because 8080 and all already used. I'm just using 1010. You can use any port number. If the only thing is it should not be conflict, means it should not be already used in any of the applications in your installed in your laptop or computer. So I'm using just 1010 and shutdown port also I'm using 8010. And it is asking admin username and password. I'll just give admin. These are the by default ports will come with them. By Hawk, by default port is 7474. Okay. But while installing in Nginx, you cannot change this. But if you go through the command line, you can change all your Hawk ports. Because that time you are providing the XML to the domain creation. Now we are just clicking next. It will take by default values. That's what is a 7474 by default. But my HTTP port is 1010 and my shutdown port is 8010. It's creating a domain. No. It's done now. Successfully configured the TIBCO administrator. How can I run this? Right? I need to open my administrator. Right? How to open it? You just go to the Windows Explorer. Again, remember, TIBCO will not support Chrome. Chrome will not support to open the administrator. Either you can use Mozilla or Internet Explorer. Because the redirection will not happen properly with the Chrome. It will opens, but the redirection, right? Page to page redirect, it will not happen properly. Our port is 1010. Right? Let's see whether it is running or not. There is nothing running. How to start this thing? If it is not running, we need to start that, right? How to start? One way is go to the services. Go to the services. For anything, right, there will be two ways. If not this, there will be another possibility also. You need to think that. Okay, I am going to the services. Somehow there is a problem with my Windows and services are not created here. Then how can I start my administrator? You understood my question? Sometimes if you install, it will not create a services here because some reason, some connection issue with that time while installing with the Windows services, it may not create the instance here. If not, then what to do? Right, that's the question I have. See, it might create here. If not, I'll show you what to do. First, we'll go to the TIBCO. I have a lot. Don't worry about all this. We'll see what is ours. Ours is class 5. I'm just starting. There is a problem. Because my Windows has a problem. That's what I want to show you that also. How to start again. Okay, I'll just close this. Windows Explorer and go to where is installables. Where is your installables? 5.7. Go to the class 5. There is administrator. Go to the administrator. Domain. Domain name. Class 5 is our domain name, right? Is a domain name. Bin folder. This guy. If I start this guy, there is nothing but I am starting up my administrator. right? But normally it will not happen for you people. Whatever I am having an issue, like I am not able to start through my services. If once you install, you go to the services and you start it. Okay, otherwise I am showing this is the alternative way where we can start our components. Because as I installed more, it is not allowing me to start from the Windows. Now I am just starting up my administrator. But this is useful. If I have some issue, where I have to start? From where I have to start? We should know both the ways to start the components. So now it is coming up. Let me go and start my service in the Internet Explorer again. This may take time because it has to load all the JSPs. Means nothing but I told you, right? It's nothing but a JSP pages where it is installing in the Tomcat server. So all the pages are loading. The application, this may take a while, and done caching application, all this. When it is loading, it is ready. Now I can go and start. So I can go here now. Right? We started the administrator. And what is my username and password? Admin. Still my hawk, if you see my status, what is the question marks? Right, my status, it is just a question mark. Means my hawk is not running. That's why it is showing as a question marks. If I start running my hawk, it will show you the status of my administrator. What is the status of it? Then I can go and start. Where I can start the hawk? Go to the TRA, domain name, this is a hawk agent. It's just got started. So go now here, if I say, this is the refresh button. Here my arrow, the hand button showing is my refresh, we are already in. Now you see my hawk is showing green is okay. Always if it is a success, it will show as a green okay. If it is any other, it will show as a red. If hawk at all is not running, it will show as a question marks. Okay, that is the meaning of hawk running or any failed in the components or hawk itself it is not configuring properly. So this is the administrator. Okay, you can go and start through the services if it is allowed. Okay, there is no harm at all. If not, then you can go like this also. Okay, now I'll show you a simple example now, because when I'm going to explain a few more things, it is important for me to make you understand what it is. Okay, let's open the designer and we'll see this. I'll show you a simple example and deploy. How to create EAR and how to deploy this. Okay, let's see that. Which one I have to open? I have to open the designer, right? To implement anything, I need to open the designer. Let me go to the designer. Now I'll explain a few fundamentals in the designer. What is more important? Then we'll build an EAR and we'll apply. Because I want to use those things when I'm explaining something else. Then you can understand better. 30th 11. I'm just given a workspace name. 30th 11 2014 as a workspace name, my workspace name. Whatever I'll do it here in one workspace for all the examples. Okay. If I want to implement anything in the BW, I need to have a process definition. There is a palette called process definition. Under the process definition only, I can implement any logic. Means whichever palettes I want to use or something. Okay, currently I want to do just pick the file from one location, place into some other location. Just a simple example. Pick from the temp location, place it again with a different name in the temp location. Okay, for that what? For that you need to take the process definition. It's a mandatory. In the process definition only I can develop. For example, you are Java programmer or something. .NET. What you will do .NET writing program? Like for Java, what will do .java program, right? For .NET, what is the extension of the dot? Oh yeah, correct. For Java, you are Java?
No, I'm into UI.
Okay. But normally, if you develop any programming .java program, you know everyone, right? Java will be .java extension. There only you can write all our program. Like this, here also, we need to have a process definition. It's called main, where you can implement our logic. Okay, let's open the process definition. Where will be the process definition? Go to the add resources, process definition. Okay. Under this process definition only, I can do any code. This is the process definition. Once I open the process definition, there will be start and end buttons. Start and end buttons. Okay. Within this only my logic should be. Within start and end. And each palette will have at least one starter activity. What is the meaning of a starter activity? What is the meaning? Like how it starts by himself. There should be some kind of a starter. Right? There should be some kind of a starter. But that starter also how it starts? When some event occurs. Getting it? Everyone is getting it? Each process definition, to initiate by himself, it should have one starter process. But how the starter process also runs? There should be some event occurs. Then only it will start automatically. Means, if I want to pull a file, why should I pull a file? There is some reason. Or some event occurred in that file. Means, someone came and changed it. Then I want to read that file. Someone created the file, but I want to pick that file. That's the reason, right? When you are going to pick the file, that is an event occurs. And starter activity. When I take a starter activity, it will go and sit on in the start button. Let's go and take in a file. File puller is one of the starter activity for me. I'm just select this file puller. Go and sit on the starter. So I'm just pulling a file, I'm just giving a file. Don't worry about all these options now, because when I'm going to teach you file palette, I'll teach all these options. But right now, just I want to show a simple example, pulling a file, placing a file. Okay, I'm just giving a C:temp example dot text. Okay, this is the file is going to pick, and I want to write it into somewhere. I'm taking a write file. Okay, if I go to the write file, I have input tab. Are we able to see the file puller here? File puller, no, right? in the input tab, we are not seeing anything here. Other than there are two, we are not able to see. How can I see a file puller when I'm selecting a write file? There is called transition. This guy is called transition. If I give the transition between one activity to another activity, then what do you mean like the previous activity of output is nothing but input to your next activity. When I give a transition. So let me give the transition. If I give the transition like this, it's nothing but a file puller output is nothing but input to my write file. So if I go to the write file now, can I see now? File puller. And the transition is only forward action. No backward action. Always transition, forward action. If you try to do the reverse, it will fail. It will show you the error. Okay, I am going to write into the same. I am going to write into C:temp example underscore read.txt. I'm just writing another file with the same content of file puller. What it pulls. I'm not doing any manipulations. So how to get it? Just go to the file puller. There will be a text file content. You just map this text content to here the text content. I'm just copying what is the pulling I'm pulling content. I'm just placing the same content into the another file. I'm not doing anything here, any manipulations, nothing. The mapping, I'm just taking the file puller text content to where I'm writing a file. Okay, nothing I'm doing it, just to taking what is the content which I have pulled the file. While writing also, I'm just placing that content to that write file. Because think like some source is asked, okay, you get the data from there and place it to some other place. What you will do? You get that file, place that file. That's the same thing I am doing now. I am not doing it. Sorry.
It's done with this content.
I am reading.
The mapping is done with this content.
Yes, text content. I'll just map the text content to where I am writing the file text content. Means in that particular file also we'll have the same content of file which I am pulled. Even my aim is not that. First of all, I want to show what is a transition and how I am handling it to explain someone. Okay. Now you understood? I did the end of again end to my transition to end. Means my implementation is done now. A simple implementation. Pull a file, write into some location. Okay. Let's do now. I'm just selecting including the existing files. Means already if the file is there, you just pick that also. Okay, how to run the program? As a unit testing, go to the tester and go to the green button, load selector. It pulled the file because of already there is a file. It has pulled it because in the temp location. That is what I said. What is the starter activity? It starts automatically by himself. You don't need to initiate. For example, if the starter process is not there, then what I have to do? I have to start intentionally, interactively. But as the starter process there and my file is exists already. That's what I selected.
The file is not there, it will give it.
No, it will not enter. It will wait until some change occurred in that particular file. When creates that file. That's what forgot about all these logical things because I have advanced options. If you see the advanced options, but I'll explain those when I explain the file palettes. But now I want to show just a simple example how I run. Okay, this is, if you see, is one job. There is one job, right? Here. Okay, if I run again, what will happen? It will create another job. Let's see that. That's what I am going to do now. I'm just change some content in that particular file, then automatically it executes second time. So let's see that. Oh, sorry. Where is mine? It's going to be temp. In a temp, see, this is the one which is given right file, example underscore read. It will be the same content of what I have there. I'm going to now, this is my example file. I'm just changing to Suresh. Say, see, it got executed second time. This is my second job. If I run third time, third job. Fourth time, fourth job. Right? This is the way of the sequence it gets executed. As we change the content, it picked up automatically. And if I go now and see here, it will be there, Suresh.
So it will override.
It will override. We can have options to append also. Okay, let's leave it. But only concentrate. We did one simple program by using process definition. In a process definition, we'll have a start and end activity. In between of start and end activity only we have to write our logic. To connect between one activity to another activity, we have to use a transition. That's what we used, right? Transition. And each and every process definition, to start by himself, we should have at least one starter activity. If the starter activity is not there, it cannot run by himself. What I mean, like, I'll show you. I'll just take another process definition. I'm just taking a sum activity, maybe a read file. Just read the file. It's not a starter activity. See, when I taken a read file, it is not a starter activity. That's what it just came here. I'm just selecting. I'm giving a transition between these two. I'm just saying as an input. Colon temp example.txt. Same file I am giving again. Okay, here also. Example.txt.
Is the path where we store the file or?
No, I'm just reading the file. Means that particular path I am reading file. File polar also I given the same path. But if you see the difference now, I am going to the tester. See, my file puller got executed. Is my read file got executed? This guy got executed? No. Getting it? See, the below guy got executed, file puller. But above guy not executed because he is not a starter process. We don't have any starter process there. So if starter process is not there, if I want to test those processes, what I have to do? I have to manually interact them. How to? Just select this guy. Did you see this green button is coming up here? You just click this. Then it got executed. Did you find out what is the difference between starter activity and read file? starter activity, if it is there, any event occurs on that particular file, it automatically picks up. But if no starter activity, it cannot run.
So how do you manually do it?
Manually means just select this guy for testing purpose. But for example, if the same component, if I deploy to the administrator, it is any useful? No useful. It cannot run anytime. Because why we are deploying it to the administrator? It has to start by itself when something occurs. That is what I am saying. When you are deploying something in the administrator, that particular process should have at least starter process. If not, it is useless. Getting it now? One second. Hello? No. క్లాస్లో ఉండండి, మళ్ళీ చేసాను అర్జెంట్. నేను మళ్ళీ చేస్తాను. అవునా, సరే బాయ్. Right? It's just got examined. Understood now what is the difference between starter process and if I don't have a starter process, what will happen? And how many jobs got created? Okay. If I want to deploy this, how to deploy? What we said, after I did my logic, what I have to do? Deploy. How to deploy? I need to create a .ear file. Right? Whatever the logic I have implemented in BW, I need to create a .ear file and then I deploy into the administrator. How to create a .ear? There is a two ways. For every possibility will be two ways. One is go to the tools, create project EAR. But it's not the right way. Don't use this because, for example, right now I have only one process definition, then it's fine. If I have big workspace, if I do this, then what will happen? Entire project it will take us 1 year only. But normally, when you are developing a project, it is not going to be that scenario, right? We'll have one workspace, we'll have multiple EARs because based on my module wise. So this is a way we can do the EAR, but don't go for it. But how to go? There is a way. What we'll do? Select this guy, right click, General, Enterprise Archive. Once I select Enterprise Archive, just double click this guy. There will be Shared Archive by default. Shared Archive by default. And if I want to get my process archives, these all are process, right? Process definitions. If I want to get my process definitions under this particular EAR, I need to get the process archive. Forgot about the adapter. Adapters is only for the adapter archive. Then I use some adapters. But right now mine is process definitions. So I am going to use process archive. Then I can go to the process and I can select my which process definition I want to become this particular EAR. If I just click this guy, it shows automatically. Then you can select which process definition you want to part of this EAR and click OK. And then apply. And go to the main project. Then build archive. This is the way I can build the EAR. I'm just storing into the temp only. I'm just changing the path. I'm going to build my EAR now. Just say build archive. It's successfully built. Let's go and check in the temp. My EAR. How to deploy this? Then go to the administrator. This is my administrator. Go to the application management. select the new application, browse for it. This is my open. Okay. Forget about the options now. Which options we are selecting under. These are all things we'll discuss when you go for the administrator. And then just deploy. Always it should be success and synchronized. If any failures, it will throw here only unsynchronized. And here it shows as a error. Then what happened? Oh, a thread. I don't know what is this. exe also has a thread. Okay. Okay. And then go to the service instances. See, my component is starting. Something, my internet maybe the thread are detected, right? It removed something. Okay, this is how we can deploy the components. Understood, no? How to deploy? Then once you deploy, it will run automatically and then something comes. It's not taking it. I think it is removed that not executing. A lot of issues in the lab. Okay. Okay, this is the way we can do the deploy.
See that under service instances that is process definition.
Yes, this is a process definition. Yes. Let me show you to my another. You understood it? I'll just deploy into my own workspace. You can understand right now. We have to go to the application management. That's what I said, right? The status is showing right here because of I have already few components which I have monitoring. So those components are maybe stopped or something. It's showing as a red thing. And I'm just going to the new application.
What is EF file will do exactly?
Sorry?
The EAF file what will do exactly?
What it will do? It's nothing but like whatever the process definitions are there is nothing but we are running those process definitions. It's normally if you deploy .NET, you create here, what do you create in .NET? EXE. And then you deploy into the IIS server, right? What it does, after you deploy into the IIS server, it will run that program. Right? That's the same thing here also. We just we build EAR. In that EAR, what we are keeping it, whatever these process definitions, we develop it. That we are deploying it.
In the design, we create the EAF file, it will deploy into the
Deploy into the administrator. That's it. So it's starting now. This is nothing but my processor, which I added my process definition. Still starting, it's taking time. Hello. Go to the engine. From. Sorry. See, run now. It ran one time. This one. Created process. If I do a change in the same example file, it will show set2 runnings. It's nothing but what we see in the tester job 1, job 2, job 3. It's nothing but how many created processes? 1, 2 as we running. If I go and change my and temp in example, because we have a time, right? 5 milliseconds, 5 seconds or something. Can you see 2 now?
We don't have to pay ER file.
No. Same here, I developed, I have a startup process. What it is doing it always is going and checking for that particular file. Any something event occurred. And in event occurred, it picked up. If I change again, it will pick up again. That is what is a runtime, right? That is what we want in the runtime. Whatever I develop my program, it has to run always as per my requirements. Right? You understood, no? This is a simple process where you do the deployment, develop a simple component and deploy it. Right? Okay, let's discuss now but Deepu is maybe again repeat for you. Each programming language will have a variables, right? Any programming language will have a variables. Like the Pico also, we have the variables. What kind of a variables we have? We have two different types. Every programming language like a user-defined variable, predefined variables. Here also we have two types: user-defined and predefined variables. What are the predefined variables? Do you remember when I showing the designer one activity to another activity without a transition? There is a two are showing up. Underscore process context. Underscore global variables. These are predefined variables. If you remember, when I took just a variable activities without a transition, there are two by default showing up. Those are predefined variables. What I mean by? If I go here, if I go to my right file, go to the input. Okay. There are two things, right? Underscore global variables, underscore process context. Those are predefined variables which are not defined by me. It is defined by the product. And those are user defined variables. And what is user defined variables? These are the predefined. What is the user defined? Which I am going to define for my project. Those called global variables. One is a global variable and second is shared variable. Third is job shared variable. And fourth is process variable. What is a global variable? What is a global variable? A global variable is a constant value where I can change at runtime. What is the meaning of runtime? When the program is running. That's called runtime, right? Runtime environment is what? Where my program is running. What is a global variable? Global variable is a variable. It has a constant value. It can be changed at runtime. What is the meaning like? What we did in the file caller? What we did in the file caller? ఇంకొక 10 నిమిషాలు ఏమి అడగమన్నారా వేరే క్లాస్ ఉందా అవునా 10 నిమిషాలు ఓకే what is given there c colon 10 example dot text what do you mean there what is the meaning there is it hard coded do you mind that it is a hard coded what is a hard coded instead of taking from the properties or something is nothing but a hard coded for me. If I give 1 in my programming language if I equal to 2, can I change anytime to when it is running? I cannot change, right? Once I build the ER, is the 2 is going to change anytime? It cannot be changed. It's nothing but a hard coded values. We used to tell those are the hard coded values. In a programming, when you are developing something, there should not be any hard coded values until it is fixed lifelong. Right? Male and female, it's fixed. It's not required to have some kind of property to create something. Other than that, I should not use it. Right? That's true. So here I have used the C. For example, I deployed it, my component, right? I deployed it to the administrator, which I built. Okay, if I want to change it to example 1, right? For example, clients ask me, instead of example, I want example 1. What I have to do? What I have to do? In this scenario, what I have to do? We have to change. Then what do I have to do? I need to build here again and then deploy again. Is a headache for me? Yes or no? It's a headache for me, right? Why should I? Simple example, changing the name of the file. I have to build here again and deploy it to dev, deploy it to UAT, deploy it to production. How much headache for me? A simple change. Then what? That is what is the uses of global variable. That is what I explained the global variable. Global variable is a variable, is a constant value and can change it runtime. We'll see the practical, but must understand the theory. Okay, you understood now what is meaning of global variable? We'll do the practical, then you can understand little more. That's the global variable. What is a shared variable? Shared and job shared. It's interrelated. What is a shared variable and what is a job shared variable? A shared variable is a variable again, and it can initialize the value and it can change the value. But global variable, it's a constant. But shared variable, I can define a value and I can change the value. But what I can do with this job shared variable and shared variable? Do you remember when I run the jobs? When I run the jobs, job 1, job 2, job 3, like that. For example, if I define the shared variable as an x is my shared variable, right? I have initialized initially 2, and my implementation is x equal to x plus 1. This is my PW implementation, right? I just one time I run the job. What is my value of x? First job. 2 plus 1. 3. Second job. 4. Third job. 5. But if I define this same x as a job shared variable, now currently my variable is shared variable. If I define the same variable as a job shared variable, then what will happen? Same implementation, x equal to x plus 1. My first job, what is the value? My second job, confusion. It will be 3. It will be 3. Oh. This is from Ellen here. Alright? Just class it. Just 5 minutes. I'll close it. Okay, this is shared variable and job shared variable. Understood now the difference? When I use a variable as a shared variable, what happened? 3, 4, 5. When I use a job shared variable, what happened? 3, 3, 3. Means what you understand now? Based on my output, what do you understand? What is a shared variable? Shared variable is a variable that can be changeable, and the lifetime of the shared variable is across the project running. Right? Across the project running. And job shared variable is only the lifetime will be only in the particular job. Once it come out of that job, the value is again fresh value. Understood? Got it? But okay, now this is a concept where I can use this. Now you can get more understanding. Where I can use the shared variable? Think like in your programming, programmatically, where you can implement the shared variable. Sequencing variable. What is the meaning of sequencing variable? Sequencing variable. Sequencing variable means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I want to maintain some kind of unique value, unique transaction ID, client will say that for each my transaction, you make one unique transaction ID for me. Am I right or not? Maintain unique transaction ID. And that is what is, if I use a shared variable, can I make it a unique ID? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that? Yes or no? Shared variable. The same place if I use a job shared variable? No use of it. Yes or no? Again, job shared variable. Where I can use a job shared variable? For example, I have to withdraw the money. Right? Some X value is there in my account. My bit A minus some 1000. It has to be inserted. Again, when it goes, the fresh value has to come to my job shared variable. I cannot take updated value always. Am I right? That time I can go and take the my updated value from database or something. But my updated value should not be right. If I take this updated value like A minus 10,000 and A plus 20,000, that's not correct, right? Always I need to take what is my value there. That's where I can use a job shared. Only that particular job. If I'm done with my job, or if for example the same sequence number, only particular process, internal processes. If I want to make it, I can use job shared. And what is the process variable? What is a process variable? Process variable is a variable where I can define this variable in the process. And I cannot use that variable anywhere else in the project. What I mean like, see if I take this guy is a process definition. Right? Here I have a process variable. If I define a variable here, can I use any other process? I cannot use. Means I have two process definition 1. If I define a variable in the process definition, that variable can I use in the process definition 1? I cannot. Only because that is local variable. If I have a function in .NET or Java something, if I have a function, if I define a variable here as a 10, can I use this particular variable out of the block? Is it possible? Not possible. The same process variable also. I can use only this particular process definition. I cannot use X process. Another process definition, the same. This is called process variable. These are the variables we have. Okay? We'll wind up the class. And next class we'll see.
It should be practical.
Practical, all this. And we'll go for this. It will clear and then practical. I'll show you all these examples as in a practical. How we can do that. What is the meaning of it? How to define a global variable and how to utilize it for the same file program. And there we can see the global variable. All those things we'll see. Let me stop the recording.